2021 is off to a running start, and with a new administration at the helm and new priorities in play for Pentagon and defense leaders, the stories the defense news reporters and editors are looking to track are evolving. For more on what they'll be watching out for, we check in with the team on this week's Reporters Roundtable.
Welcome to this week's Reporters Roundtable. I'm Aaron Mehta. Believe it or not, 2020 did actually come to an end. We are now in the year 2021, a couple weeks in fact. And so we wanted to get together with some of my defense news colleagues, Jen Judson, Valerie Encina, and David Larder, to discuss what 2021 might bring for each of the military services. Val, I want to start with you. As the Air Force reporter, what are you watching for? What milestones are you tracking in the coming year?
Well, I think like everyone, we're looking to see who the officials that are going to be nominated for the service secretary. So who becomes the next Air Force secretary? Who becomes the next Air Force acquisition exec? What are their priorities and how do they try to influence things? I'm going to be looking especially at programs like the Advanced Battle Management System and the Next Generation Air Dominance, which is the Air Force's future fighter, to think about, are they going to stay on the same path that the Trump administration carved out? The other thing I'm going to be keeping an eye on is the new Air Force Chief of Staff, who was sworn in August. He made accelerating change a big priority. But so far we haven't really seen that take hold. We haven't really seen any meaningful changes made. So I think it's a big question about, is he actually able to accomplish his goals? And does the Air Force start to change to look like a force that can compete against China?
Great. Larder, same question from a naval perspective. What are you watching for, aside from, of course, the obvious, who's going to be coming into the services?
Right. I think the 2021 is going to be a big year for the Navy. They are looking very hard at their unmanned program. There's this general sense that the Navy needs unmanned systems to spread sensors around and spread capability around and boost the capability of the current fleet. But there's been a lot of skepticism in Congress about the path that the Navy's chosen to get there. So I'm looking toward 2021 as a year where they're really going to try and figure out the best way forward for furthering unmanned systems. And then beyond that, fitting into this suit jacket again is what I'm looking to do in 2021.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for all of us. Jen, last but certainly not least, tell us about the Army. What's going on this year?
Well, Army Futures Command has stood up over 2 years ago now, so they're well underway in trying to execute their top priority programs. One of those is a hypersonic missile, and that is actually a joint program with the Air Force and the Navy as well, but the Army has the lead on the glide body for the hypersonic missile under development. So there's going to be some big tests in 2021, two big ones, one in the third quarter of 2021 and another in the first quarter of 2022. So that's something that's pretty exciting to watch. If that's successful, then I believe the Army will be on the path to fielding a launcher and the missile to a unit, possibly by the end of this year as well. I think the other thing to watch is obviously the Army leadership team over the last administration was really strong. They were kind of seen as the dream team. They came together, they worked really well together. That was Mark Esper, General Milley, then Vice Chief of Staff General McConville, and Secretary McCarthy, who was Undersecretary when they were all in the team together. But that band has been broken up. McCarthy is no longer there. Esper is no longer there. So it'll be interesting to see who comes in, joining McConville, who's the last member of that team, really, to see what they can accomplish. A lot of this stuff is guided by personalities and relationships. So something definitely to keep our eye on.
Yeah, there's that old Washington saying that policy are people and people are policy. So personalities matter. In that regard, I think we're all going to be watching how Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, Mark Milley, works with another former Army officer coming in, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. So that's something that personally I'll be tracking quite a bit. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate everyone taking the time. Of course, all these stories will be continuing to be covered on defensenews.com. We'll see you next time. I'm Aaron Mehta.